From the studios of the Bakersfield Californian, it's time to open up with real people and real talk about real stuff. And now, a special welcome to our friends throughout California, across the nation, and around the world to this week's edition of Open Up.
And good morning. I'm Tina Miller.
And I'm Don Clark. And
this is Open Up. We're your favorite pair on the air.
You bet. You bet. Boy, do we have some wonderful people for you to meet today.
Yes.
We really struck gold with our guest today, didn't we?
Yes, Don. So
Often
excited.
I don't even get to see Tina until we sit down here on the set, so it's very nice to see you. You
Good
look
to see you too.
marvelous.
Thank you.
Well, our guest today is, what can I say, just one of the greatest Americans that truly, and has been honored by the Medal of Freedom presented by the President himself.
Yes.
And in her 80s and going strong, and what a
Yes.
life she's lived, and more to come. So we want you to meet Dolores Huerta and Juana Chavez, formerly of the United Farm Workers Union. Cesar Chavez's right hand, strong right hand, maybe doing even more than Cesar did in that whole struggle. Welcome.
That would be hard.
That would be hard.
How does it feel being in your 80s now? You've been so active in your life, and now you've reached this point in life. How does it feel?
I guess the only thing I can say is that when you get to be my age, then you realize, oh, wow, I don't have too much time left. And so that really gives you a sense of urgency about all of the things that still need to be done, and how we can use our experience that we've had in all of the years of organizing. How we can use that to, create more leadership, to create more organizing, to get more people involved, get them engaged, so that we can really address some of the problems that we have in our society. And I left the United Farm Workers in 2002 for my own organization. I got a gift from the Puffin Foundation of $100,000, which I put into an escrow account, and use that money then to form our nonprofit, Dolores Huerta Foundation for Grassroots Organizing. And so we've been doing that now for the last 10 years, working primarily in the southern Kern County, Lamont, but your area there, Don, where you come from, Lamont, Arbon, Weed Patch, and East Bakersfield, and trying to make things. Well, it's not that we go in there and do things for people. We organize the residents so that they can take on the issues for themselves, and they learn how to be able to solve their own problems.
Excellent.
Dolores, you're mentioning your urgency about the problems. What are at the top of your list and agenda of things that you want to get accomplished quickly?
Well, I can tell you the things that we're working on right now. We've in the past we did a lot of work on infrastructure. Down there in Lamont, we were able to get we have about 18 streets now that have curbs, sidewalks, and gutters. It didn't happen before. We were able. That was there in Weed Patch. Our residents there passed a bond issue to that gymnasium that they have at Sunset Middle School. That's how our people did that work, and gotten a bunch of houses hooked onto sewers that they didn't have sewers. And we've got some swimming pools also in Lamont, passed that 1 cent tax initiative in Arbon to bring in about $1 million a year to the city of Arbon for the stuff that they need. Last election, we also helped pass a bond issue to bring in more money into the Arbon School District. But really, we've been focusing a lot on education issues. We actually have filed a lawsuit against the Kern High School District because of the huge suspensions of African American and Latino students. African American students almost 600% higher than white students. Latinos 500% higher than white students, and working. We're hoping, and I think we're hopeful that our Kern High School District will make some changes, hire more teachers of color. At this point, they only have 1 African American principal. They only have 3 Latino principals, and all of our ethnic composition of the students is 72% minority, 65% Latino. So these are the changes we want to make, because all of that really affects the children, the way that they're taught, the teachers that they see in front of them. And then we're doing a lot of civic engagement. As you know, we have a very low voter turnout. So we have to educate people on why they need to vote. And then we give them information. We're a nonprofit organization, but we have candidates forums so people can interview the candidates and see how they stand on the issues that are important to them.
Tina,
so it's a lot.
What is that laughing about?
Just one small example of how remarkable this woman really is.
I'm sitting here, Dawn, thinking, and she's still going strong.
Oh, yes, yes. Juana Chavez, you're a much younger woman. Are you able to keep up with this gal? Tell us about your work with this foundation.
That would be hard to do. Keeping up with my mother it's quite a task. She has an amazing amount of energy. And I don't just say for her age, I say for any human individual. Her passion and her drive and commitment gives her a fire and an energy that is, I think anyone would have a hard time keeping up
Wow.
with.
How many children are there?
We are 11.
11.
I'm number 8.
And you're number 8. Great
Yes.
number.
Yeah. So
Dolores, through your daughter, I learned a secret about you. You're a world-renowned activist and have done so much in your life, but I've discovered that you are a terrific dancer.
Oh, well, I like to promote dancing. I think all of our family, both my parents love to dance, and all of my children love to dance. And I really promote this because I think it really keeps your legs strong. And as we get older, that's one of the main things that elder people, they have trouble walking, and I think the television sets are probably TV shows maybe our worst enemy because a lot of people as they get older they don't exercise, and so I think that walking and dancing are very, very important, and I wish that they would kind of mandate in all our schools, right?
Excellent.
Kids have to learn how to dance.
A specific type of dance?
Oh, any kind. When I was younger, a big secret that you probably didn't know is that my ambition in life was to be a flamenco dancer.
Whoa!
And I actually took
Flamenco.
Because I was born in the state of New Mexico, and when they used to have the fiestas, you could always hear they would bring out the flamenco dancers, and I used to hear that Spanish music, and I just loved it. But and I did take dancing, ballet, tap, and flamenco. But then my teacher went to dance with Jose Greco, the great flamenco dancer, and so I lost my teacher. Mm-hmm.
But she is legendary until the legend exists until this day. I have spoken with my peers who said, "Oh yeah, my parents knew your mother. She was the one who won all the swing dance contests. So she was the one to beat apparently in the whole Tri-County, Stockton, Northern California area."
Wow, my son has won the highest credential to be a West Coast swing dancer and instructor, and the women say when they dance with him they call it the ooh dance because it just it's so good. He's got
He's
such
very
a
smooth.
great lead.
Well, we'll have to get together.
Oh yeah.
It's a challenge.
Nobody knows how to swing dance anymore. It's just sad.
Well, you swing, don't you? I mean, since your son, didn't he teach you?
When Josh started, I just kind of backed away and let him have it all.
Oh, okay.
And he did. He just took off and flew.
Yeah, I've danced with him once, and
It was the ooh dance.
it was smooth, really. So, Dolores, tell us now, how have you kept your strength over these years? I was talking with you before we came on, and you talked about your diet. Tell us about that.
Well, I actually became a vegetarian about 25 years ago. And I had first, I'm Catholic, and so for Lent I used to give up eating red meat.
Okay.
And I did that for several years in a row. And then I never went back to red meat. And so for about 3 years, I had just ate chicken and turkey, poultry. And then I gave that up and then never went back. And it's interesting because once you give up meat, you don't really miss it that much. And the other strange thing that happens is when you stop eating meat and you see meat like those big, commercials where they have these huge hamburgers with the bacon and the cheese, and oh God, you think, oh my God, heart attack,
exactly.
waiting to happen. And it really, when you stop eating meat, and you see meat, it actually repulses you, and it's nothing that you do consciously. Cesar Chavez was a vegetarian, and I remember he used to, and his wife Helen, by the way, who's still alive today, but Helen would, cook all the meat in the kitchen, and Cesar would say, "Oh, that meat stinks! It's awful," and we thought he was just, making a point, exaggerating, but actually that does actually happen. I remember before smelling barbecue, and I think, that smells so good, and then going to my son's house and I said, "What is that terrible smell?" Guess what? It was barbecue. But your body does that for you, without you consciously making those choices,
It does.
Caesar is my uncle. So his sister, Rita, his eldest sister, we just celebrated her 90th birthday. She's also vegetarian.
Wow.
And she is up, active, alert on the dance floor.
You bet.
Not skipping a beat.
Boy, there's so many
something to be
studies
said.
about the benefits of that style of eating. There was a woman called E.G. White, Ellen G. White, at the beginning of the 20th century who who, though she wasn't a vegetarian totally, she said there is coming a time in the history of the earth when all animal products will be unsafe to eat because of the greed of man. And then in the 21st century, John Robbins, who was to be the heir of the Baskin-Robbins fortune and run it, took a totally different path and has written a book called The Food Revolution. And you read that book and you realize we're there. I mean, we're there when it's almost dangerous to eat the kinds of food production that food factories that are turning out now. Anyway, that's beside the
Well,
point.
that's an important point, though, because even with corn, so much of the corn that is grown now is not even going for, it goes for cattle feed, which is something that is not natural to cattle in the first place. They shouldn't be eating corn. A lot of it, of course, is going to ethanol, which has never really been proven to be that environmentally sound. And so, and you know, because we do have global warming and we are endangering our planet, I think people have to start thinking about all of these different connections. Also, the fact that so many people eat meat, it's so promoted in all the fast food restaurants. And I mean, like when I go into a restaurant, I have to go through the whole menu, and the only thing I can eat is pasta. And I do eat fish. I'm a pescatarian, I guess. But then you think, you know, all of this, if we could just cut down on the meat, we'd have. And also because of the big cattle farms and the methane, you know, that they exude, then it really affects the atmosphere and global warming. So we're all connected, and somehow I think that's the one thing that we have to think about. You know, how do our behaviors as human beings, how does that affect the planet? You know, what does that happen? Then because if we don't protect Mother Earth, then I don't care what cause you're fighting, you know, whether it's gun control or against gun control or whatever it is, you know, we're not going to have a planet, and then all of us are going to be not only affected, but then for future generations they won't have a home.
Boy, a lot of wisdom. Your life has been one of great struggle, and when we come back, we want to hear some of those struggles and what it's cost you to take up those causes. We'll be right back with Dolores Huerta and Juana Chavez.